Geography, lesson number 2. The Sun, the Moon, and the Earth. Angles made by the Earth, Moon, and Sun. We see the faces of the Moon from the sky. They are the illuminated portions of the Moon. They become visible due to the sunlight that is reflected from the Moon. While revolving around the Earth, the Moon is on the opposite side of the Sun on a full moon day, whereas on a new moon day, the Moon is positioned between the Sun and the Earth. On the first and the third quarter days, the Moon, the Earth, and the Sun make an angle of 90 degrees. At these positions, we see half the portion of the illuminated Moon. Hence, in the sky, it appears semicircular in shape. Eclipses: the orbital path of the Earth and the orbital path of the Moon are not in the same plane. The Moon's revolutionary orbit makes an angle of 5 degrees with that of the Earth. As a result, the Moon intersects the plane of the Earth's orbit twice during one revolution. Twice means 2 times. On each new moon day, the lines joining the Earth and the Sun and the Moon make angle of 0 degree, whereas on each full moon day, this angle is of 180 degree. Even so, the Sun, the Earth, and the Moon may not be in one straight line in the same plane on every new moon or full moon day. Hence, eclipses do not occur on each new moon or full moon day. However, sometimes on a full moon or new moon day, the three, that is, Sun, the Moon, and the Earth, fall in one line and they are in the same plane. Eclipses occur on such occasions. Eclipses may be solar or lunar. Solar eclipse: if the Moon is between the Sun and the Earth, the shadow of the Moon falls on the Earth. If the Moon is between the Sun and the Earth, the shadow of the Moon falls on the Earth. At such a time, if these three celestial bodies are on the same plane and they fall in one line, then the place on the Earth where the Moon's shadow falls, it experiences a solar eclipse. This shadow is of two types. The central portion of the shadow is darker and the periphery portion of the shadow is light. The central portion of the shadow, which is darker, is called as penumbra, and the periphery portion of the shadow, which is light, is called as penumbra. In the area of the dark shadow on the Earth, the Sun becomes completely invisible. This condition is known as total solar eclipse. Total solar eclipse is seen in a very limited region of the Earth. However, during the same time period, the places where the shadow is lighter, the Sun disk appears partially covered, and this condition is described as partial solar eclipse. Figure 2.5 representing total and partial solar eclipse. Sometimes the Moon is in apogee position, that is, it is at its farthest position from the Earth. As a result, the deep shadow of the Moon is cast in the space and it does not reach the Earth. But from a very small region of the Earth, only an illuminated edge of the Sun disk is seen in the form of a ring. From a very small region of the Earth, only an illuminated edge of the Sun disk is seen in the form of a ring. This is called as annular solar eclipse. It is a rare phenomenon. Figure 2.6 representing annular and partial solar eclipse. Eclipses, the orbital path of the Earth and the orbital path of the Moon are not in the same plane. The Moon's revolutionary orbit makes an angle of 5 degrees with that of the Earth. As a result, the Moon intersects the plane of the Earth's orbit twice during one revolution. Twice means two times. Figure 2.7 Solar eclipse activity. Figure 2.7 Solar eclipse activity. Lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse occurs when the moon enters the shadow of the earth while revolving around it. At this time, it is necessary that the earth is between the sun and the moon, and all three of them are in the same plane. On a full moon day, the moon's path of revolution passes through the thick shadow of the earth. If the moon is totally hidden within the shadow, we see a total lunar eclipse, and if only a part of the moon is in the shadow, we see a partial lunar eclipse. Figure 2.8 Total and partial lunar eclipse. Here we can see the total and partial lunar eclipse. The shadow of the earth is falling on the moon. Figure 2.8 Total and partial lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse activity. Arrange the materials used for the solar eclipse demonstration earlier as shown in figure 2.9 and try to understand how a lunar eclipse occurs.